to week 7 for the Blackhawk Report. My name is Greg Norman, your host, and with us, as always, our great reporter from East Lansing, a former Brandon High School star, Griffin Makrovich. Griffin, we've got lots to talk about, so we're going to get to it directly. And I guess the easiest thing to do is it still seems like it's early in the fall season, but the soccer team is already tied for a Metro League championship.
That's right, Greg. Yep, Blackhawks Fen Tigers just tied. They got the same record of 10 wins, 0 losses, and 1 tie. And Sean Lovelace is having a great time. He was just sending me right now. We just finished 15th overall in Division II for Michigan High School at play right now. So he's very happy right now with the way that the Blackhawks performed this season.
I would think now you can set your sights on maybe having a good postseason if they had such a good regular season. So that when districts for lacrosse for soccer start this week? Am I correct?
Yeah, it does. Yep.
Okay. So that's one of those seasons. Our golf regional is tomorrow. So we're kind of, if after tomorrow, so I guess it's probably soccer and you got to finish them. You think of football not finishing all the way until, Thanksgiving weekend. So that's
right.
Good from that standpoint. We had a Donnybrook of a football game. I actually was watching the game on the National Federation of High School Sports Network. I turned it off. I think it was 28-7. And then I got an email the next morning from Brad Zuby, who was going to be on in a couple of seconds, to remind me that they won in 4 overtimes, 57-56.
Wow.
And only a missed field extra point separated them from winning and not winning. And apparently the person that they sent into the game for Clio was the first time this poor kid is an exchange student. First time he's ever kicked a football in a game, and they're asking him to tie the game or to go ahead in the game.
In quadruple overtime. In
the 4th overtime, and he missed. And obviously, when Brandon got ball possession, they scored, kicked the extra point, and won by a point. Talk about putting pressure on a kid who's never played and he's a foreign exchange student. I thought that was a pretty good story.
Well, is everyone else injured, or what happened there? Did you get the full story?
I just don't think they have a kicker. So they put this kid in, and that many, I'm sure there was guys that were wore out. Brad didn't get into the whole process, but hey, they missed. Doesn't matter whether it's a foreign exchange student or an inanimate object. They didn't get the point. You kicked the extra point, and that was the other one. So puts the Blackhawks at 4-2. Owasso's coming to town this week at 4-2. Another good team on that side of the ledger for the Flint Metro. But one more win and maybe 2 more wins. They're into the playoffs, so we'll see what happens with that. Now, you've got something interesting. Jesse Johnson has got a program he wants to start to try to get more kids to the table to play multiple sports. We know that there's this one sport mentality that everybody's going to go get a scholarship. We know that that's not true. Talk to us about that.
20th, Jesse Johnson went and spoke in front of the township board, and he announced that he's launching this new Platinum Hawk program where kids can get this special patch in their varsity jacket if they play 3 varsity sports in all the seasons, fall, winter, and spring. He's got too many kids, like you said, monopolizing their sports, only playing one sport, thinking they're going to go to the NBA, NFL. There's nothing wrong with that, but for the most part, those chances are like winning the lottery, and we know that, So it's better to have these kids, I think, fill out these rosters, and I'm excited to see what he's got going on with this program. Not only is he inspiring kids to play year-round in each sport, but he's also inspiring them to do better academically. He's got after-school study sessions for the football team and the basketball team and all these other teams lined up to kind of make sure there's no athletic ineligibility, and he's cut down on that quite a bit.
Obviously, we've also got some information from swimming and cross country. Let us know about what's going on there.
That's right. I talked to Ryan Drogemuller again. We've had him on a few times now. He had a few girls in some key positions injured and sick actually at the same time when they were playing against Kersley, but they managed to pull together, and some players that haven't been getting as much show time in the first couple of heats are now moving up in heats, and they got to show out, and they won 97-66 against Kersley. Right after that, they got whooped by Fenton, but Fenton, as Ryan told me, has been the powerhouse of Flint Metro League swimming for the last 20 years. I also touched on the fact that it's not just the Brandon Blackhawks, but it's the Goodrich Brandon Warhawks. That's what our swimming program is known as ever since 2019. I know we've talked about before mergers with teams. Brandon Holly is still merged for lacrosse, of course, for the Redhawks. So yeah, and that's just mostly to do the reason that most of these schools don't have pools. They don't have this facilities that Brandon has, that Fenton has. So that's why they're kind of coming together. I also talked to Wes Diner, the cross country coach. They just had their Oakland County Championship in Kensington Park over in Milford. That was a very hilly course, very tough course. Our closest guy to finishing was 40th, so we didn't qualify for anything. But Jacob Hilton is still moving on to have a great end of the season, and we're excited to see what he does moving forward when he goes to college.
talked to Brandon, golf coach, a half hour ago, Jason Rumble, and the girls had a real difficult regional today. The best score was 108. So he kind of finishes up, not as strong as they would like, but they had improvement from last year. So they will be done as of today. There's nobody moving on to states, so that'll put the end to. We'll hopefully get a conversation with Jason a little bit about the season and maybe a couple of his players for next week. So that'll keep us busy for sure. With homecoming, it's always a big deal. The Powder Puff game, I think, is tomorrow night. We're going to try and get some video of that. We'll see how that works out. We've got board meetings to cover, but other than that, we should be in pretty good shape. So until next week, we'll say goodbye. And up next is Brad Zuby. So thanks for your time, Griffin. Welcome back. We're going to have an interesting conversation about a track meet that happened up in Clio. We're talking with Brad Zuby, head coach, Brandon High School football team. Brad, 57-56?
Correct.
3 overtimes.
Yep.
Not a lot of defense was played in this game. Is that fair?
No, not really. It was 22-8 at halftime, and they scored on a kick return for a touchdown. And other than that, we held them in check. We had a great defensive game plan, and we held them in check the first half. Their offense didn't score. We come out in the second half, kick an onside kick, get it, score, and we're up 30-7, 30-8 at that point. And slowly but surely, these Clio kids, to their credit and to their head coach's credit, just kind of started chipping away at it. And we thought we were there, and it just was slowly chipped away, and they worked their way back into it. There was some stuff they had a very friendly clock operator that seemed to miss about a minute and a half of time that should have ran off in the fourth quarter while we had the ball. But those things happen. You got to overcome those things. Both teams had some penalties in the second half that cost some momentum. But they made some nice returns to set up some short fields. We had a costly, turnover that didn't seem costly at the time. It was, I think, still 30-7 when it happened, 30-8 when it happened. So easy to overcome, but they did a heck of a job getting back into the game and tying it up on a last minute, last 30-second drive. They have a dynamic quarterback at Clio. Some nice complementary pieces. They are far and away the greatest single season turnaround I've seen from a group of kids in a 1-year span. So a ton of credit goes to their kids and their coaching staff. Coach Clark's got them believing. The community seems to be behind it. So it's always better for our league when everybody's playing good football. So,
all right.
Yeah.
We're going to come talk about homecoming, do all the rest of it. But you're sitting on the bus. We've both been in all these kinds of situations.
Yeah.
If you win this game, it isn't so much a matter of celebration as a matter of relief. Is that fair?
Oh, yeah. Honestly, I'm Greg, you know me. I'm not the smallest guy in the world. My offensive line coach picked me up like I was a toddler and held me in the air. He was so excited. I was literally out of emotion, other than, like you said, relief, right? I was out of emotion, but I'm just really, really proud of our kids. This is a resilient group of kids. They have shown a ton of perseverance. They are pretty darn close as a team. We got to overtime and didn't flinch. Our offense really was unstoppable all night. We chewed up over 500 yards of offense. And we got into overtime and just did the same stuff that got us to where we were. And we had a really great combination of our fullback running inside, and then they would overplay the inside, and we'd go outside with Luke Hansen. They'd overplay Luke. We'd go back inside with Damian Watton. And, Damian Watton had 38 carries for 214 yards and the game-winning touchdown. Luke Hansen had 23 carries for 172 yards. Albert Rowe, our quarterback, had 2 rushing touchdowns just on our quarterback sneak play, just getting his head down and finishing runs. We didn't throw a lot.
Is he still hurt?
He's feeling better. The ball's in the air now.
The reason I ask you because you're only 4 for 9 for 127 yards.
We didn't have to throw. We were controlling the chains and moving the clock and running the ball. But, it was one of those things. If you don't got to do it, let's just keep it away. He threw a beautiful fade ball down the sideline. We ran a little stop and go fade route down the sideline, and Dimitri McNear caught it in stride, took it all the way down to the 1 yard line, and then we punched it in from there. But Dimitri caught 3 balls for 111 yards. I mean, we had a lot of offense from 4 kids.
Let me ask this. If relief is the emotion with the victory on the bus, can you also say that if you lose that game, it's absolutely the worst?
Yeah. I mean, we had a game against Flushing, I think, my second year, where we lost like 60-56 in a complete track meet, and neither team could stop anybody. And you feel awful because you should have. It just deflates you. Definitely does deflate you. So, we are fortunate to get out of there. But again, proud of our kids. They didn't. They stepped up and made the plays in overtime they had to make. We were able to get a stop on their final 2-point conversion. We got a huge stop from Ben Sobek, who chased their quarterback to the sideline, and Dimitri McNear kind of cut off his angle as the kid tried to reach the ball across the pylon, and he just couldn't do it, and then we were able to score the winner. The very next play, Watton takes it 10 yards, makes a good cut, slices it to the left, and we kick the extra point and win.
Well, 2 big losses, second and third week of the season.
Yeah.
Now 2 1-point wins. Struggle games against teams of equal caliber. I think that's fair to say.
Sure, yeah.
And that's got to give you confidence beyond belief.
Yeah, we after the Clare game, the Goodrich game, you're reeling a little bit. One of our better players is out for the season, our starting middle linebacker. We lose him in the Goodrich game, and we had to regroup. We were playing a Corunna team that hadn't won a game yet, but Corunna's always tough and physical, and we talked about that a couple weeks ago, and I just kind of challenged the kids to, hey, let's get back to the style of football and the brand of football that we're used to playing here. And, we got our offense back under center and just started playing some smash mouth football. We rearranged our offensive line, not changing guys, but moving some pieces around to different places where they're more comfortable at. And those guys, that offensive line, including our tight end, Bryce Heverly, who we moved from tackle to tight end and inserted a new lineman in there. And those 6 guys together, Evan Smith, Gavin Rochester, Jacob Morrison, Heverly, Will Smith, that group of dudes has been awesome. And we have just been pounding the football the last 3 weeks.
Okay, 2/3 of the week season's over. You're at 4-2. You would have, if I'd had this conversation with you 6 weeks ago, you would have settled for 4-2 and certainly been happy with it. Homecoming this week. Owasso coming in, another 4-2 team. Another team, much like Clio, which improved, and they've played good football. So talk briefly about that game.
Yeah, I mean, when you get the right coach into a school, it changes everything. And just like Coach Clark at Clio, Coach Tyner Ron's done a great job at Owasso, just establishing a football culture in a way that they're going to do things, and those kids have bought in. And it's another team with a massive offensive line. They got a kid, Eastern Michigan commit, who turned down some big offers. Not that Eastern's not a great school, but he turned down, I think, Pitt and a couple other, mid-major schools, and ended up at Eastern Michigan. But he's a monster. And they got a couple other guys his size. They got a great, kid at quarterback who's a 3-year starter for him. Kid's athletic as all heck at quarterback. So, it's gonna be another dogfight at homecoming, and we're just gonna go out ready to fight, I guess. We'll have the kids ready to go, and they'll be excited to play. And the kids, like I said, they're a great group of kids. They care about each other. They're doing things the right way, and we're gonna try to get to 5-2.
Best point of the win, would 5-2 get you in the playoffs at this point?
Honestly, it's Division 4 is funny this year. There's a ton of teams still at. We're 4-2. There's a lot of 6-0 and 5-1s. I think we're in the 24th slot out of 32 right now at 4-2. So the Owasso game and Owasso's Division III +4 wins, that would certainly bump us up into a pretty secure spot. But 1 week at a time, man.
If you win this week, who's the possible crossover? Who is the likely crossover?
It's interesting because our friends at Holly, Coach Keenest pulled a great upset off and beat a Flushing team this past weekend. So now there's a little bit of a logjam between Linden and Flushing and Holly because they've all kind of beaten each other. If Linden loses to Fenton this week, there'll be a 3-way tie over there for second place on that half of the league over there. So then they'll have to go to some tiebreakers and go through all those scenarios. So it could be Holly, it could be Flushing, it could be Linden for us, whether we're in the second or third slot.
You have a favorite?
Nah.
Okay.
Nah. Yeah, we're just gonna see. We don't see those guys. Those guys, we used to see them every week, and now, every season. Now you don't see them as much anymore. So just see how it shakes out.
All right. Well, listen, appreciate your time, and good luck this week with homecoming, and we'll check back with next week.
Yeah, hey, shout out to our soccer team who clinched a second consecutive division title this week. Those kids are playing well. Wish them luck as their second season gets ready to start. And yeah, we'll talk to you next week after homecoming.
Wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you as you bring our colorful stories to the world.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
Every day, thousands of kids start vaping. And I can't let this happen to my kid. Of course, it's awkward to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping. Hey, bestie, how's sketches? Vaping. It's hard to get their attention. Ready? Go. Yes. Look at that. You even turn yours over. So if you want to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping, you got to get it trending.
No, you're doing it wrong.
Let's go.
Can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
Visit talkaboutvaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
Welcome back to the Blackhawk Report. I'm joined once again by Ryan Drogemuller, the head coach of the Brandon Goodrich Warhawks. Ryan, I just want to apologize that I've been kind of calling you out as the Brandon coach, and since 2019, you guys have been combined with Goodrich. Just tell me a little bit about how that's been going for you guys. You guys are the primary school, right?
Yeah, so Brandon is the primary school. As far as like MHSA stuff goes, Brandon is the official school that's listed on all the things. It's been going really well. It does a nice brings a nice pool of talent of kids that maybe do a little bit more summer club over at Goodrich. Come over here and help out with our Brandon kids. So they seem to complement each other really well with their strengths and weaknesses. So
that's great, because I know we can be rivals sometimes, especially with these closer schools like Goodrich and Holly. So that's good to see that those kids have been getting along real well. And you've been coaching Brandon before the merger happened. What was that like beforehand? Were you guys needing students, or was it kind of Goodrich that needed help, or what happened there?
So it's pretty much really it was just 1, maybe 2 years with the boys and 1 year with the girls, I think, where I haven't had Goodrich. They kind of joined pretty quickly. I think it was a mix of Goodrich joined the Metro League around that time, and then they were looking to boost some of the team numbers. So they at the time they decided to combine teams because Goodrich doesn't have a pool or facility over there. So instead of trying to field the whole thing themselves, they just said we'll just combine. It's close enough. There are some schools, so like Swartz and Flushing are combined, and then Kersley and Lake Fenton are combined, which feels like a long haul for the kids to get over there. But
certainly. Yeah, and well, speaking of Fenton, I didn't know Kersley and Fenton were combined because you guys, despite having a bunch of injuries and some illnesses and some of your key swimmers, you guys beat them on a match in a meet a couple of weeks ago, 97-66. And you mentioned the Citizen newspaper. That's how I figured out you guys were the Warhawks, by the way. I noticed that he wrote you as the Warhawks. I was like, that's my fault. Yeah, you guys have been doing really well against them. Tell me about what that's like going up against a team that's got two schools that are combined that are even bigger than Goodrich and Brandon.
Yeah. So Kersley and Lake Fenton are in fact a little bigger than Brandon. Uh, last week was a fun week. We had a couple people out, yeah, like with sick and injury, and they but the team managed to really rally together and not just win their Kersley meet, their league contest on Thursday, but on Tuesday they were able to win their non-league meet against Bay City Western, which was really kind of fun plus there for them. So it's kind of nice going into last week with Fenton and with just the one loss in dual meets. So
Yeah, and Fenton's the previous season reigning champs, correct?
Fenton has been reigning champ for 20 plus years.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. So they're the powerhouse of the Flint
I think
Metro
the
as far as
one
swimming.
for girls season, the only time Fenton shared a championship was 2011. Brandon girls tied them that year. So I think that's the only time Fenton's given up the title in a way.
Well, they're real serious about their swim program then.
Yeah,
So,
they're
well,
very
I'd
serious.
like to ask you how that meet went. I mean, how are you guys competing against these top teams, these powerhouses?
Yeah, so the Fet meet went pretty well. Our kids did, and were actually pretty solid on their season dual meet times. Um, they, and I was hoping that maybe they could, push themselves a little bit faster at some very strong competition, and then maybe get a few cuts here and there, but it just didn't work out timing wise. The focus is end of the year rather than the dual meet there. But there was always a chance or a hope to maybe get a few extra cuts there. But otherwise, it was a pretty good meet. There were some technical difficulties on the printer side, but the swimming side went really well.
There you go. I'm glad to hear that. And you guys are playing. You guys are coming up to the end of your season. You guys only got a few meets. You guys got the big MISCH girls meet coming up. But
Yeah.
you got Corona right before that. How are you feeling going into that? What are you telling your crew as you guys are coming to the end of the season?
Yeah, so the Corona, the girls are pretty favored to win that one. Um, but much like last week, anything can happen if you have enough injuries or illness in a meet, and then so it's just kind of staying focused and doing our races the way we need to get them done. And then then the next week will be a big week with meets where we'll have Notre Dame on Monday here, and then we'll have senior night on Thursday here, and then our breaststroker will go to Holland for the Michigan Swim Coaches Association Invitational meet. Um, so hopefully, Keely get to lock in and focus on her race there.
That's awesome. We're so excited to hear about that. Who are we sending out to compete in that?
Claire Whittick, she's a good wrist swimmer. But so she got the cut at the county meet, and so we're hoping about a little bit more rush. She doesn't have to do as many races that day. Maybe she
Mhm.
can drop a little couple in there, second or two.
There you go. We're excited to see how she does in that. And Ryan, good luck with the stuff you got coming up. We're excited to talk to you in about 2 weeks or so when we wrap up the season.
Military families often sacrifice precious time away from loved ones while serving our country.
We were worried that with him leaving, that she would lose those connections with her dad.
Some of life's best moments happen between parents, children, and the pages of a good book. United Through Reading provides that connection. And now, United Through Reading is also available to veterans. Learn more about United Through Reading at unitedthroughreading.org.
Here with Coach Wes Diener, the head coach of the Brandon Cross Country program. Coach, you've had a busy few weeks. You guys competed in a few meets since I talked to you last. I just want to highlight the Blue Jay invite you guys had last. Freshman Cheyenne Compow looks like she finished first running a PR for you guys. Tell me a little bit about how that meet went for you guys.
Oh, well, Cheyenne, she was first in our team. Had a nice she had a PR. She won 2 athletes that PR'd at that invite for. So her and Ryan Zock were our 2 athletes who PR'd. It was about 80 degrees when they ran. So it was a good course and good conditions, good competition. But the conditions, it was quite warm. So to do as well as they did, I was quite impressed with that. So.
Yeah, you mentioned the conditions being warm. I mean, how's it been competing in this crazy weather where, what is it now, 6 days into October and it's still 80 degrees out today? How's that feeling for you guys?
It's tough. It's been making things, it makes training a lot harder. It makes competing a lot harder. For example, Saturday we competed at Oakland County Championships, and that was very hot and difficult with the heat and the sunshine and everything. But,
and Oakland County, that was in Kensington Park, right? That looks like a beautiful area, but I was just texting Jacob. He said it was a hard course, a lot of big hills. What was the topography like there?
Oh, it's very interesting, that course. Basically, it's defined by 2 very big hills at around a half-mile in and about 2.5 miles in. So it's a very difficult course. And again, with the conditions, it was tough running for everybody. So
did we have any high rankers in that meet, or not so
Jacob
much?
he was 40th. He just missed being all county. He competed well, but it was with the tough conditions. So he did. But again, I think he's set up for a very good last 3 weeks here. I think we are set up as a team with the weather cooling down. I think we're in some faster times here. So
yeah. And coming up, it looks like you guys are hosting for the first time maybe this season. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys are hosting Goodrich and Grand Blanc East tomorrow. What are your thoughts on that?
Like set up so the technical it's a middle school tri meet. So I'm looking forward to see our middle school runners compete. So.
And well, I was reading on the Citizen newspaper that your athletic director, Jesse Johnson, is launching this new program called the Platinum Hawk program. He's trying to inspire kids to play more sports year round. Is that something you guys are talking about to your players, your younger players? Are you trying to encourage them to play outside of the season?
As we get closer to the end of the season, we'll start talking a little bit more about competing in the winter as well, doing the winter sport, either wrestling or basketball. So again, as we get closer to the winter, ski's another great one for cross country runners. But
yeah, I was just interested in what you guys think about your kids doing. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Diener. We'll see you again in about 2 weeks to wrap up the season, and good luck with what you got going on.
Thank you. You have a good night.